Hey guys, so today I've got the wonderful Fraser. Fraser, all the way from where's that you from, Fraser?
I'm in Tauranga in New Zealand, so we are in winter and we're at the other end of the world, and we are a few hours ahead of you. But such is life.
So for the past 6, 7 weeks, hasn't it? We've been working
Yeah.
together. So you guys may have seen me with the International Wednesday posts.
Yes.
So Fraser is one of my clients based over in New Zealand. So Fraser, do you want to tell the viewers what is it that you do?
Yeah. So I'm a business coach, but the reason why I came to Vinard is because I'm a sprinter, an aging sprinter now. But I'm a sprinter, and for the last 3 or 4 months, I haven't been able to sprint. So it's been, as we were just talking about before, it's resulted in me being a little bit grumpy with the family. And it's a resulted in me being a little bit frustrated, haven't been able to have my me time sprinting. And so, yeah, I'm a sprinter and I haven't been able to sprint, which meant that I had to find a solution, which is why I've been working with Vinard.
So what was the main symptoms or the presenting problems that
Yeah, so
caused you
the
to
main
reach
thing
out?
was a sore back. So I reached out to a chiropractor at the end of last year because I was having massive problems with my back. It started off with being just a little bit tight getting in and out of chairs, in and out of the car, at the beginning of training, but once I warmed up, it was fine, so I didn't think about it. And then progressively it got worse, where it was sore all of the time, and I felt like a 95-year-old man getting in and out of chairs, right? And the chiropractor, bless his cotton socks, not questioning what he was doing, but it wasn't making things better. I wasn't getting any worse, but I wasn't able to sprint, still painful getting in and out of cars. So I was like, there's got to be a better way. I've got to fix this. I'm not willing to accept at 45 that this is going to be my lot for the next 45 years. So that's when I reached out. I'd met you, 4 or 5 years ago,
Yep.
through a mutual mastermind. And I've seen the work that you've been doing, seen the amazing testimonials. I'm like, I'd be silly not to have a chat to Vinard and see if he can help me in this situation. And the rest, as they say, the last 8 weeks of much less pain, much more mobility, much more fun. And even in the last couple of weeks, some sprinting has made that, it made that phone call that we had that 10 weeks ago now so worthwhile.
Because as a business coach yourself, it's always the progression, it's the trackable results. Whereas if the work you're doing is always pretty much like you're spinning your wheels or you're always getting back to square one, it's not quite progressing.
No, and it's frustrating. And it's frustrating because you're banging your head against a brick wall. You're going, I go there and he eases the pain briefly, but then 2 days later I'm back to where I was, right? And I was getting to the point where maybe I just have to accept this. But there was a part of me that goes, well, and I've been seeing some of your testimonials. I'm like, well, they haven't accepted it, so maybe it's on me to find and explore a different way and see if that different way will work for me. And the fact that I've been sprinting in the last 2 weeks suggests that absolutely it has. Yeah.
Because this issue's been going on for, how long has it been going on for?
Yeah, well, it's been serious for 3 or 4 months, but it's been going on for, seriously, the lower back pain, probably 3 or 4 years. And one of the biggest ones I had, and my kids thought it was fantastic, after the first call with Bernard, I was able to tie my shoelaces. And so I haven't been able to bend down to tie them. So I had to go at funny angles and reach, and just didn't have the range of mobility and range of movement. And so after the very first call, I went from being able to just get my hands past my knees, trying to touch my toes, to actually touching my toes. And I was so excited I could tie my shoelaces. The small wins, but like I was running around it was in the mid-evening here in New Zealand. And I was running around like a crazy person. The kids wanted to know what was going on.
I can do my shoelaces.
Yeah. And that sounds like something so basic, but when I've been avoiding it or doing it in funny angles or only at certain times or not undoing laces and just slipping them on to make the excuse, like, it was massive. So yeah, it's just those little things that you take for granted. When they're no longer there, you make excuses around them, but actually then going, hang on, I don't want to have to make excuses around that. I should be able to do this. So that's one of a number of things. The sprinting, the being able to touch my toes, the being able to get out of the chair, the being able to play with my kids without having to think about warming up first and those things. It's like, you can't put a value on that. That stuff's priceless. It's like being able to feel like you're 20 again rather than feeling like you're 90.
Because a lot of the work was with all my other clients is the aim is to front load the results. early on, rather than a not like a drawn out, but a steady progression of the results. It's to give you the bulk of the results early on, and then the later work is just a fine tuning to the detail to get things all fully locked in.
Yeah, 100%. So the results were instant. I think the reason why there was time with some of it was me getting the confidence back to go sprinting, you know, but like in terms of being able to tie my own shoelaces, being able to get in and out of seats, all of that happened really quickly. Like the first session was phenomenal. The first 2 or 3 sessions were where 90% of the things had changed. I could have gone sprinting after that, but the confidence of not having done it for 3 or 4 months was just like, I don't want to ruin all this great progress. And so I'm glad that we've done it, that we've tweaked that last little bit incrementally and as the confidence built. But, you know, being able to do what I've used to do in the gym, not thinking about it, you and I have talked about, I'm actually doing some lifts better than I've ever done before, and I'm using the right muscles in the right order. That stuff is just like, that's invaluable. I think that for me,
personal best every week now, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you say, it's that getting massive wins early on and then going, well, that's okay. I'm okay then to wait for some of those, the last little bits to come on, because, you know, nothing happens, not everything happens instantly. So, but having those big wins up front then gives you the confidence and the belief that I've just got to keep persisting. And these last 10% might take 5 times as long as the first 90%, but it's worth it because it's really fine tuning it. And it's not accepting 80%, but going for 110% of where you were. Like, you know, you and I talked about having more range of motion movement than I had 10 years ago. So making it even better and sort of future proofing other things as well. And I think that's what's really stood out for me with you, is that it's not just fixing the current problem, but being proactive and going, what can we do to prevent it from happening again or coming back? What can we do to supercharge and super proof you from other things from happening? And that's been, you don't get that a lot from professionals in the health sector. It's almost like, let's just fix the problem, but it's like, no, actually, let's go back and fix the cause and prevent it from happening again. And that to me is what's really stood out.
Because we had to go quite far back to kind of work out what the original cause was. So come think of it now, it's like, oh, okay, how does that link in? But when we tested it all out, real time, it's not on the call, it all gave you that input. It's like, wow, this is the one we have to go to. This is the one that gives us the biggest strength. This is the one that gives us the biggest range of movement.
Yeah.
This is the key or the keys to your progress.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing. Like, just to have you say that something might have happened when I was 5 or something might have happened when I was 12, or things that you don't even know were happening, to then you make a change. And I then went and did a stretch and saw instant changes. You're like, that's mind-blowing. How can that have influenced this? But it's joining the dots in a way that I'd never considered. And for me, it was like, the shoulder might be linked to the neck, which might be linked to something that a scar I got from going through a window when I was younger, and then broken toes. It's like, I don't have the knowledge to put everything together, but you very quickly went, yeah, okay, I can see where these links are. We're gonna solve this in this way. And so that to me was, I'd never put those things together. And no one had ever asked me those questions before. No one had ever linked that. It was just like, oh, this is your problem. I even got told, you and I just having a chat, I even got told by a chiropractor, you're never going to be able to do these things again. And I've been doing some of those things over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So that speaks volumes, right? That's like, you're not going to be able to do this, Fraser, to, well, I've been doing it and doing it for the last 2 or 3 weeks and had no issues. So that, that is why you go and seek out someone that has a unique skill set and does things slightly differently.
Because we found out that pretty much all the symptoms you had, yes, there are real symptoms, it is genuine, but it's all a result of compensation, the workarounds that your body has gone through over the many years, the many decades of working around old injuries. And it's just come to a point where it's like, had enough now, Fraser, had enough. Here's the issue, here's the pain, sort it out.
Yeah, and even injuries that I didn't know were linked, that you haven't even directly dealt with, have cleared up. Like, I were talking about the range of motion in my right shoulder.
Yep.
And without even knowing, it's better. I've been able to do exercises in the gym and various things I haven't been able to do for a long, long time. And I remember messaging about it going, yeah, Bernard, I'm able to do this again. What's going on? And it's like, you asked me next time we're on video to do a stretch, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's just like, it's not even knowing things are linked. And it's like, I shouldn't know that. Like, it's not my expertise. I don't know it. But for you to be able to go, yeah, these are linked. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to go through and fix it. It's like, to have that confidence that there's someone who gets it that's then going to fix it for me, that's where the gold is.
And this is all done real time over on a Zoom, a video call platform. And what, 12 hours time zone difference?
Yeah. Yeah. And that, to me, I mean, I work online as well. So it's something that I know works, but given that yours is much more physical, that's why I first contacted you and said, can you help me even though I'm in another country? And so the minute you said yes, I didn't doubt it. And the proof has been in the pudding, you know, to use a good old English saying. Like, it's that first session where I'm suddenly tying shoelaces and reaching, it's like, it really does work. And whilst it may have been different, if I'd been in your studio, it hasn't changed the outcomes. Right? You know, there's workarounds and there's able to be creative, and we live in a world now where everything that's going on in the world, that access isn't maybe what it once was. So to know that it's still there and it doesn't impact stuff, that to me, knowing that I can have a person that helps me on the other side of the world and it doesn't change your ability to help me, that's next level. Like, that is opening up the world. I don't need to then just go to someone who's close just because they're close. I can go to the best, even though they're on the other side of the world. And that is very reassuring for me.
So for those that are kind of a little bit hesitant or on the fence right now, what would you want to say to them?
Oh, look, just embrace it. Like, I've always been open to trying new things. So that to me wasn't a challenge. It was more like, this guy who I'm not quite sure what he does, but I know the outcomes are amazing. Will it work for me? My only comment to you is just give it a try. Like, you know, the investment was justified to me after one session when I'm tying shoelaces. Like, that to me was the value. So everything else has just been added bonus on top. So really just say to people, just give it a try. You know, if you've been following and you've seen some results, if you're dealing with pain that you've accepted as just the way it is, or pain that you've just acknowledged and you go, well, I'll just work through it. Honestly, don't. Give Vinod a call and at least have a chat to him and see what he says. And if he says he can help you, just jump in, because if I put a value on my pain and the change in that pain, then it's 10, 15, 20 times what I invested to get Vinod to help me. So if that's not a recommendation to go do it, then I don't know what is. Just stop putting it off, stop dealing with unnecessary pain, and go and talk to the man that is the pain ninja.
So just for the record here, obviously we've had lots of improvement in the range of movement, lots of improvement in strength. The pain isn't there anymore. That has stayed consistent, hasn't it? So the range of movement hasn't gotten any less in the past.
It's gotten better. Yeah. So as I've had
strength
more
has
and more
improved,
confidence,
the pain hasn't come back. Whereas compared to other work, like I say with other therapists, you have the session, it feels great, and then it comes back a few days later.
Yeah, and so there's that ongoing frustration. Whereas with you, I'm messaging you every couple of days, going, I'm able to do this now, I'm able to do that, and this is happening, and this is happening, and so keeping on unlocking other layers of stuff that I didn't know I was able to do. And that's been the surprising thing for me. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So it's not just getting it to here, but like, you have this desire to get me to here, right? And so that's what we're doing. And even though we finished our core work together, the improvements are still happening, because the practices and the habits that I'm putting in and the little things that I'm doing are unlocking more and more as I'm getting more and more confident. The only thing that's holding me back now is the breaking through to new territory, right? And so that is I think has been the biggest one for me, is that I'm not fixing the previous week's poor efforts. I'm actually making progress. I'm going to places that I haven't been to for years, you know, like seeing people that I haven't seen for ages, and a good friend of mine, and just going, look at how I can squat now. Now look at the range of motion I've got. Look at where I'm going to. And he's just laughing at me going, oh my goodness, what have you been doing? He said, have you cut tendons to allow you to do that? So just little things like that you assume are just the way that it is. I think that's been the game-changing thing for me. It's like, it's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's still giving.
So today is our final session. So what happens next with Fraser is, today you're discharged from the clinic. But what we have is there is the 90-day warranty. So if for the next 90 days is, even though you're based on the other side of the world, if there's any issues or if you just want to check in for reassurance or for your peace of mind, you simply just pop a message and we book in a call. So it's not like you're out there all on your own. I'm going to be here if and when you need me for the next 90 days. So you can train, you can explore, you can play, live, knowing that I've got your back.
Yeah, and not that I needed another selling point because I was already convinced before then, but that certainly was a really nice added bonus. You know, it's like being a highly strung athlete, I'm going to pick things up along the way as I learn and as things happen, and you have good days and you have bad days with anything. So being able to then say to you, hey, look, this is what's going on, and you to say, yep, that's cool, normal, or try this or do something else. Like, that's really reassuring to know that the journey hasn't finished. There's more time of support for me to be able to test it out and push myself further and see what happens. And I think as an athlete, that's really, really important because, like I said before, I've just got the confidence to try some things. Been back sprinting for 2 or 3 weeks. I want to go out there and sprint faster and put the spikes back on and see what that's like. And to know that you're going to be there for me to be able to message you, even though you won't answer because it'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning for you, for me to be able to go, hey, look, spikes on today, felt good. This happened, this happened, this happened. And then to know that you're going to be able to give me real-time feedback within 24 hours. And so that is golden. And also to know that you're there if I need to jump on a call and ask you some questions, that's available should we need it. And so that's really kind of nice. It's like, yep, I've helped you, but I'm still here for you for the next quarter if you need me. And that is a real point of difference. So not that it was needed, but it is a nice added bonus.
Yeah, thank you, Fraser. It's been a great pleasure working with you and helping you solve all these issues.
Oh, look, thank you. My life is infinitely better because I'm able to do things that I've been putting off for so long and avoiding for so long. So that, as a 45-year-old aging athlete who still thinks he's 20, that is priceless. So yeah, massive thank you.
Thank you.